Hello, guys and gals, me Mudahar, and you can't trust anything you see on the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start off by showing you the most trending GitHub deepfake tool right now that's been all over the news. It's been kind of shared around, and it's scary easy to actually set up. So I wanted to dive into it and show you how it works and show you the real fear of believing anything on the internet anymore. Now, the other day I saw this post, #1 trending GitHub repo, where they were just showing like Elon Musk deepfaked onto an individual, like literally on camera. And this was all happening live. So there was no like long 20-minute process to make this video. It was actually happening with a live capture of somebody's webcam. Now, to give you an idea, that is insanity, okay? Imagine joining a Zoom call or something and finding out, whoa, you just got scammed. I mean, there's an entire, like, literal story of, like, shit, literally this year, February of this year. Financier scammed of $25.6 million after meeting with deepfakes, okay? A Hong Kong-based finance worker was scammed into paying 200 million Hong Kong dollars, which is 25.6 million US dollars, in a virtual meeting with deepfakes, okay? Literally, he thought he was talking to actual business people. In reality, it was just Tom, Dick, and Harry using a deepfake tool. So here I've got the actual thing open, Deep Live Cam, which is the next leap in real-time face swapping and video deepfake technology. So if you look at this actual video tool over here, you can see how somebody has deepfaked Mark Zuckerberg onto them. And, of course, if you refresh, you can see other people like JD Vance, for instance. And then, of course, it just keeps going from there. Now, you might look at this and be like, it looks a little fake, Muda, but in the middle of a call, imagine like somebody who has no idea of technology or anything falls for this shit. So I look into this stuff, and it says it apparently works locally on your CPU, your NVIDIA CUDA, so really any NVIDIA GPU. The better the GPU, the more CUDA cores, the better. And of course, if you got an Apple Silicon laptop or a Mac Pro with Apple's hardware, you can do it right there as well. So what they said is they've got real-time face swapping, one-click video deepfakes, multi-platform, and what they say is ethical use safeguards. So built-in checks to prevent processing of inappropriate content. So I went to their actual thing, and by the way, it is a trending repository. It literally is like on the list, like number 5, where it says real-time face swap and one-click video deepfake. Today alone, it has 1,600 stars. So I go over to their actual trending depot over here, and of course you can see, boom, 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 you've got the whole Elon Musk demo there. And what they actually have said is, please use this software responsibly while abiding by local laws. The developers of the software are aware of its possible unethical applications and are committed to take preventative measures against them. I want to say that that's bullshit, because I went to the credit section and they use something called Gyosu DRM for uncensoring groups. If you open it up, you can literally like create deepfake NSFW pieces. I mean, even in the software alone, they have a tick for NSFW, so I don't know what kind of ethical safeguards they have. So how do you get this thing up and running, you might be wondering? Well, if you're on Windows, and I'm going to basically set this for people who are using Windows 10 or 11, just because I think that's where most of the user base is, most people even watching. If you're on Linux, this whole process, you probably understand how to do it. So one thing you need is Python. So you go to python.org, and you basically go to the Downloads tab, and according to their GitHub, they say they need version 3.10. So inside over here, you want to scroll down and look for version 3.10 in this list. And boom, right here, from October 4th, 2021, you want to download that and basically install version 3.10.0. At one point during the install, it's going to ask you about path variables. You want the installation to set those path variables for you. Otherwise, the set of commands we're going to be doing are not going to function underneath this software. So at this moment in time, what you want to do is you want to fire up a quick terminal. And just because, for the sake of argument over here, we're going to right-click and run this as administrator. You might sit over there and wonder, Muda, is that safe? Honestly, always run any of the software with like actual care. Just because, you never know what you're running, especially, stuff off of GitHub. I'm in a virtual machine, so I really don't care what the software is going to do, but I would wager to have extreme caution. I am not responsible for anything you run on your system, okay? If you don't trust it, don't run it. So inside over here, you want to type in py just to make sure Python works, and you can see that I've got version 3.10.0, All right, so Control Z and then just basically get out of Python right there. Now inside here, you want to get pip. So basically what you're going to do over here is you're going to go look up pip on Google, and usually it'd be like https pip pipa.io, this pip documentation. And over here, you're going to go into it, and effectively it's going to tell you underneath the Windows option to make sure you type in the command underneath your terminal, like we just opened, py-m ensure pip two dashes and upgrade. Okay, so you're going to pass these arguments, you're going to make sure all these requirements are satisfied, and then you're going to download this script, getpip.py. So from this actual page, you can right click, save the link as, and just save it in any specific folder. So for instance, on my desktop, I have it saved in py install. So if you want to navigate to that entire area underneath a terminal, type in ls to view what directories you can go into. So I have to go into my desktop because it's on my desktop, so cd desktop, and then of course ls again. But if you know the actual folder, like we saw py install, go to cd py install, hit enter, and over here you can type in py and then git-pip or pip.py. So as you run this directory in, again, administrator mode, it'll install pip as that dependency. Now, next thing you know, you'll need is git. Now underneath Windows, you can go to git-scm.com, but more importantly, go to that download for Windows. Inside download for Windows, if you have a tool known as winget, and if you're on Windows 11, and I think even 10, you should, it's like a Windows package installer tool. So all you see is this command, highlight that, right click, copy, and what you do in your command processor or PowerShell, you want to paste that in there, hit enter, and it's going to download that for you. Now I've already got it installed, but it'll go through the whole process of setting up Git for you. Next, you need ffmpeg. And this links to a YouTuber's video known as Troubleshoot, and he's created one simple command line you need. So again, underneath a PowerShell or that terminal, copy this whole IEX IRM ffmpeg tc.ht, and you can paste that in here, hit enter. Actually, wait, it's not reporting. Yeah, there it is. I just need to enter that way. And it'll just basically handle it for you. It'll install all the dependencies, and it'll ask you which version you want. For just safety's sake, just do the full version and type in 3, and it'll go through that process for you. So next you need Visual Studio 2022 runtimes. So you go over here and it takes you to Microsoft C++ build tools. So you want to download these tools and you want to just run them, and it'll allow you to download right from Microsoft these visual installer dependencies. So it's not explained well in this README, but I'm going to show you exactly what you need to click. What it'll ask you is Visual Studio Build Tools 2022. So I've already got it installed, but usually it'll give you a screen that looks like this. What you want to do is make sure you tick development or desktop development with C++. Once you have that ticked, you can install that, and it'll be like 8 gigs, but it'll install all of the tools and what you need for, again, running this repository. Now, at this point, we're going to create a new workspace and actually get this camera software working. So make a new folder on your desktop and call it something like Live Cam, for instance. Now, you want to have around, I want to say 40 gigs of free space, because we're going to need a lot of Scratch to work with just to get things situated and ready to go. So open up this folder right here, and this is something located literally on your desktop. Now, to navigate to that folder, because we're at the user directory and whatever your username is, do cd desktop, all right, and you can hit the tab key so it auto-completes for you, and that way you'll know that that folder actually exists versus trying to go crazy. Hit enter, and then do cd, type in li for live cam, hit dash, and it'll tell you that you can go to the live cam directory. Now, if you type in ls, nothing exists. But at this point, we're going to type in git clone, and we're going to copy this URL from here in this repository. Now, what that'll do is it'll actually clone that Git Deep Live Cam repository so we can work with that. Now, at this point, do cd and type in dash, and it'll take you to the next folder, the repository you just cloned. So at this point, you want to download these two models, GFP-GAN and IN-Swapper. And then what you do is download those two files, go into that deep live cam folder, your repository, and in that models folder, just place those two files there. So these aren't really big files, like 270 megs, 340 megabytes. These are just models. And at this moment in time, go back to the terminal, and all you want to do is type in pip install-r requirements.txt. But before we go into that, you want to set up a virtual environment. Now, before we continue, we need something known as a virtual environment, so we run, not across many issues or something as we proceed through this project. So here on the actual terminal, as I'm in that desktop live cam, deep live cam folder, we want to type in py-m, okay? And then we're going to type in venv, and then come up with a name like, I guess, live cam, for instance, right? And then just hit enter. And what you'll notice is a new folder is getting made known as live cam. This is the virtual environment that we need. To activate this virtual environment, all we're basically going to do is type in /livecam, and then we're going to go in, before we hit enter, we're going to type in sc, hit dash, it'll take us to scripts, and then at this moment we're going to type in activate and hit enter, and you'll notice that now you have this little live cam that denotes that you're actually in your virtual environment. Now we can actually proceed through and call upon those requirements. Now, one thing they don't mention in this README, and one issue that I came across, was keeping a lot of the build stuff that I needed updated. So one actual thing you should add right after you get into your virtual environment is type in the words, all right? You want to go in and do pip install-upgrade, and then you want to do upgrade pip, you want to upgrade setup tools, and you want to upgrade wheel. So again, because you're an administrator, hit enter, it's going to meet all these requirements, it's going to remove old packages and update everything. So as this is done, everything is up to date, and we can now proceed with actually running those requirements. Actually, one mistake right here. It says could not install packages due to an OS error. I didn't actually run this in a administrator, so that's pretty simple. Now, because we've upgraded and kept everything there, everything seems to work, we have no issues, everything is running at the administrator level. Now, to get things going, you type in pip install-r requirements.txt. And as you hit enter, it's going to basically collect all of this information. Maybe you have it cached. I've already done this before, and it's just going to build for you. So at this moment in time, you can sit back, grab a beverage, maybe eat a Sour Boy strip, I don't know, and call it a day, all right? You're gonna come back once this is done, and then you can actually start with all of them. Now, like a 90s cooking show, I've already done this well in advance. So I've got my own directory over here with a bunch of video files that were all generated using this tool. But to give you an idea, I'm gonna open up my version and I'm gonna show you how this runs. So once everything is good and ready to go, inside your virtual environment, all you have to do is type in the words python run.py. Now, if you want better performance, and I'm sure you do, especially if you're on Windows, because without a graphics card or any accelerator, this just gives you a black square on your face. If you're on Linux, things seem to work just fine, but that's just because Linux is better. Anyways, point of the matter is, if you have a NVIDIA graphics card, you download the CUDA toolkit from NVIDIA's page, where you go over here, download for Windows, and again, your specific operating system, you install that. It actually changes the display driver on your system so that you can actually run this tool. Then you run these two uninstall dependencies and install, just so, again, all within your virtual environment. And again, this all changes depending on which system you're doing. So if you have Apple Legacy or Apple Silicon, you can go there. If you have a Windows-based AI system, you can go there. But yeah, generally, this is how you want to do it. And obviously, when you're launching it, you go back to the tool and you add an extra argument, such as execution provider, and you can give it CUDA, for instance, if you're on NVIDIA. But if you're on, Apple use like Core EML, and for every other device, they've got a different mention. So I'm going to hit enter and just launch this tool. So it's going to take a little second, but it'll fire up. And boy, oh boy, be ready to be shocked. So when you fire up the tool right over here, it gives you this pretty simple interface. So what you basically do is you select a face real quick. So inside over here, I've got a few Scratch workspaces. So I've got Billy Butcher, okay, because I know a lot of y'all motherfuckers say, well, maybe you look like Billy Butcher if you don't shave. I've seen that comment on YouTube too many goddamn times. Elon Musk, for instance, okay? All right, right here. And of course, I've got Steve Carell or Michael Scott from The Office. So none of these images are necessarily crazy. As you can see, the dimensions for the Billy Butcher image are like 360 by 424. Nothing crazy high res. Elon's got a 2364 by 2364 image, clearly the crispiest of them, and Steve Carell's sitting at 1080p. So what you basically do is you throw in any image, and here I've got Elon Musk right there. Now if I hit the Live tab, it's going to basically take my camera input and give me something juicy. So we're going to hit live and just see what it provides. Okay, I have to do it again. I had to remove my camera from the actual OBS. So it's going to take a little bit of time, and on your first run, it's probably going to download a few models from the internet. But as you can see, it's fired up this camera preview, which you can feed into OBS for a recording. But here you can actually see I've got good old Elon Musk running live. Now this is laggy, and it's not going to be as smooth as people you've probably seen on the internet, and that's because this camera in specific is feeding in a 4K 30 frames, at worst 1080p 60 frames through an actual DSLR. If you have one of those like camera webcams or like, you know, something built into your laptop where it probably, you know, captures at like 480p, 720p if you're lucky, or it has the ability to scale, you know, really low quality footage and send that in, it's going to work better underneath this software. And also, you know, if I move out of frame, for instance, you can see that obviously the performance has gotten a lot faster. It's just when I get in and it actually has to start calculating is when things slow down. Now, if you look at the performance on the system, you can see that my GPU is being used like 30% all the way through. Now, obviously, I can replace, again, different images that I have over here. So I can go and put Billy Butcher on and hit live right here. And bam, it's actually not half bad. You know, if I had a slightly lower quality webcam, this might actually work. This might actually really work. This might actually fool somebody who doesn't know anything better. Obviously, it's going to have issues deepfaking somebody of different ethnicities onto each other, okay? So yeah, this is what apparently I would look like if I was good old Billy. Now, of course, around the lips, it's not working so well. Like if I open it, yeah, it's failing there. It's so crazy how you can actually do this in near real time. And obviously with a lower quality webcam, it would have been a lot easier. But of course, if I had in like Steve Carell, this should be absolute. Oh, that is downright diabolical. I look like I'm from fucking Planet of the Apes. But yeah, obviously the image depends. Like this is a smiling picture or like one where he has like the smile caked in. So it's not easy to obviously get going. But again, what's insane about this is that if you take a camera real quick, you can actually, that's crazy. Oh, God. That's fucking freaky, dude. Hold on, let me try it again. Let me try it with like the Billy Butcher face. Let's go. Oh. That's so wild, dude. And like, hold on, if I let me just turn this off here real quick. All right, get rid of lighting a little bit. Okay, so different lighting scenarios. Fire this up. Oh. My face went back. What the fuck, dude? That's scary as shit. God damn. Now, obviously, I don't want to promote the NSFW option, and I'm actually shocked when they were talking about being against certain safeguards that they would even keep that available. But literally in this video, I've shown you that it can take literally minutes to get things going from an actual, like, just if you have no knowledge of any of this, of how to use like Python or anything, it literally takes less than 30 minutes to get this going on anybody's gaming computer. And depending on the graphics card that you have, it apparently allows you to make near real-time footage of things. So for instance, I recorded this 20-second video footage of me. So you can see right over here, this is just like me and obviously looking into the camera, moving my head around, and of course, I'm shining a light on my face. So at this moment in time, I decided to take, you know, all those 3 different images and put it through this tool. So here's Butcher captured obviously with every frame, you know, inserted, and all using this one simple tool. If you move your camera around, this is convincingly scary that somebody could get this running on their system. So again, to look at the lighting on my face reflected like that is downright scary. And all of this is fed from one image of one person. So of course with Elon Musk, it gets a little bit difficult just because I think it's trying to capture a smile when it can't. But obviously with the mouth closed, it's scary. The only thing that's like really giving it away for me is when it tries to obfuscate my beard and change the facial hair to match whatever Elon's facial hair was in the source image. Now, obviously, Michael Scott's downright the scariest, and this is with something known as facial enhancer. So this took around 10 minutes to render versus the 2 minutes. So obviously, the face looks a little bit clearer, but yeah, it's interesting how it like captures the light really well. Like this part scares the shit out of me. And here you can actually see a break in the system. So as the light was being casted right here, it has this moment where it like just breaks. Like I don't know if it's trying to generate glasses on me, but yeah, other than that, it corrects itself and it casts appropriately. So yeah, we're getting to a point where again, this is just what it's like in 2024. Imagine in 2026 when tools like this are perfected even more. It gets more optimized, graphics card technology ends up getting better. We're reaching a point, guys, where you cannot trust anything on the internet anymore, man. I am actually downright scared. I am shocked. I'm freaked out, dude. That was some really impressive piece of software. And I can see, unfortunately, why it's trending. Obviously, we sit in a world where people are worried about deepfakes. YouTube itself has a policy where it wants you to denote if content in a video was generated using artificial intelligence. And YouTube is going hard in making people state that because, again, if you don't have watermarks or proper safeguards, somewhere down the road in the future, you could have a YouTuber making a video where they say some out-of-pocket shit, and it turns out it wasn't even that YouTuber, but you might not even be able to tell that anymore. If there's some faked video footage like this, faked audio, faked everything. Believe anything you hear on the internet with a grain of salt, especially after this year, because everything's about to change. Anyways, this is me, Billy Butcher, and I'm out.